Good afternoon, everyone. Today we have Ms. Prachi Rastogi, Diversity and Inclusion Leader, IBM APAC, with us. First of all, a very happy Pride Month to you and to all the viewers watching. Prachi, how does it feel, first of all, reminiscing the fact that you're leading diversity, at in IBM, and you've been leading number of various uh, kind of categories that have been happening in IBM when it comes to diversity as a whole. So, being an ambassador as a diversity leader at IBM and introducing such a strong topic that we're discussing today as empowering LGBTQ plus professionals, talent hiring for career growth and development. What are your views on this topic, first of all?
Thank you very much, Sugandh. It's an honor to be here with you today, and it's a privilege to be leading diversity and inclusion for IBM in Asia Pacific. And I absolutely am humbled by that privilege and power that I get out of this position. And I hope that in the time that I'm here, I'm able to do some impactful work and make this world and IBM a little more inclusive each day. So, what a celebration this Pride Month this year. Although our activities don't really confine to the June month, it's
Of
really
course.
the hard work that happens day after day in the whole year, and that of course intensifies certainly in June. And this year even special because in 2018 we the section 377 was read down, and there's a lot happened after that. And this year the effort has been made that marriage equality act also takes place in India, and I hope that it comes through. But it's certainly a big step that we've done the talks, we've done the intense conversations in the court, and we are eagerly now waiting for the results. So this year makes it absolutely special, and we are doing everything special at
At
IBM.
least it is very heartening to see that we are at a situation, we are at a stance where we are actually discussing about LGBTQ and their future in terms of having a constant partner for them throughout their lives. I
Isn't it?
am, as an employee, I am very happy that at least we are in this discussion. Maybe, we're still in that debatable stance wherein half of them want it, half of them don't want it. But at least we are in that mindset that, we have to think in this forum. And, we need to think in this direction.
Absolutely. I mean, we have to be human and understand that
Exactly.
people have hearts, people have different needs, different likings, dislikings, and we need to acknowledge them. So I was talking about IBM, and there's so much more and unique things that we're doing this year. We have quite a few transgender people within the organization, even
Okay.
people who've gone through the transformation journey. But this year we've taken a target of hiring a sizable number of transgender people, and we're doing a special effort of working with our partners who specialize for this community, and we're working very closely to ensure that they do a whole lot of awareness for our hiring managers. We understand how to hire in an inclusive way, especially keeping the transgender people in mind. We are ready in terms of policies, program, environment, so that when they come in large numbers, we are ready to not only hire them but actually retain them and keep them happy at IBM. So we're very excited about that, and we're also inviting Lakshmi Narayan Tripathi ji this year. In fact, this month.
Okay.
Later this
Okay.
month, and it'll be a talk that we will hear Lakshmi ji, all of our leaders, all of our managers, all of our employees actually, to see how how the world is from her perspective, to open our hearts and mindset to this community, to the LGBTQ plus community, and see how we can include them even more in our workplace, workforce, and make space in our hearts for them. So that's
That's
what.
commendable, Prachi. That's really nice of an organization to be taking out an initiative wherein their side of the story is being equally heard, and then we actually get to understand that why are we in this debatable stance? Why do we need to think about them? Why do we need to be humane to this approach? So it's a commendable step from an organization's perspective. For people who are really looking at what this discussion will culminate and what exactly the kind of conclusion will come on to. Well, I feel in recent years there's been increasing recognition of the importance of empowering LGBTQ plus, and other diverse sexual and gender identities. So, creating an inclusive, supportive environment, promoting career growth and development of LGBTQ individuals is not only a matter of fairness and equality, but is also strategic advantage for the organizations. I believe Prachi would also agree with me. Now,
Oh, yeah.
in today's talent hiring practices, empowering LGBTQ professionals, it is actually vital for creating inclusive workspaces, attracting top talent, fostering innovation, promoting employee engagement and retention. And by providing these opportunities for career growth, professional development, and mentorship, organizations are not only benefiting from the unique perspectives and contributions of these people from the LGBTQ community, but they're also demonstrating that their commitment to equality and diversity is large and far and wide. It is not confined to only workspaces. Now, empowering LGBTQ plus professionals is actually a win-win situation, leading to a more inclusive and a successful workplace for all, wherein you do not have to work an extra mile getting them on board. If you're giving them a stance and if you're making them believe that, we are hiring basis skills and not basis somebody's sexual preferences, it is actually opening doors for them. Now, this discussion, we will explore the significance of talent hiring practices, empowering LGBTQ plus professionals, and enabling them to thrive, contribute fully to the organizations. Prachi, my first question to you: how can organizations today promote LGBTQ plus talent retention and foster an inclusive work environment, encouraging career development for them?
Very good question, Sugan. Thank you for that. I think the first step always is to see that your managers, your leaders, your executives, so people who have power in the company, people who can take decisions, they understand why is it a human and business imperative to hire people from the LGBTQ plus community. Today, diversity team, for example, I am in front of the client almost every week. All the clients want to talk to the diversity team and understand what we are doing in terms of policies, programs for the LGBTQ plus community. How can we hire more people in their projects, in their teams, more from the LGBTQ plus community. So it's not no more just a human imperative. It's no more just a good thing to do for equality. It is very much a business imperative too. So I think leaders, business leaders, business managers should go through um, awareness trainings. What is LGBTQ plus community? How are they different? If they are, what are their needs? What do we need to do in the environment, in my behavior as a manager? What do I need to change to be more inclusive of people who are different than me? I think once that happens, your environment is ready. There's no point jumping into hiring immediately, because if you hire and your environment is not ready, then they will leave, and they will leave disgruntled, which is a bigger harm. Then you as a company will be very famous for uh, not creating the right environment for the LGBTQ plus community. So first step, make sure that your environment, your people in key positions, your business managers understand the importance of the community and understand the importance of uh, it as an imperative to hire people, to retain people from the community. Number two, have the right policies and programs. I think that's a no brainer. It's a very easy thing to do. There are many partners, many organizations who can help you do that, that get all the policies, programs right. For example, the self identification for the LGBTQ plus community. How, if I'm from the community, how can I safely self identify myself uh, as somebody from the community? How does that help? Because then I am part of a BRG or a ERG where
Right.
many people are there, and then I'm not alone. I'm with people who are allies or people from the community, so that I can do much more. It's not just enough to say, yeah, okay, I'm comfortable in my space. But if you're comfortable in your space, do something for someone else, and do something for make space for someone else. So it's very important to have policies and programs, have gender neutral bathrooms. Now, even gender neutral bathrooms is step number one. But then, have you trained your janitor staff as well? It's also important,
Of
because
course.
it's a big thing to have gender neutral bathrooms in each of your buildings. But make sure your housekeeping staff is also trained, because even when how
Hmm.
people are looked at can be very inclusive or exclusive.
Exactly.
So yeah, so the more awareness, without you know irritating people, without sort of shoving inclusion down their throats. I'm not trying to say that, but gently make people more aware of the community, and see how can we embrace people from the LGBTQ plus community. And the last thing I would say is that give teeth to your strategy, because it's great to have policies, programs, it's great to do awareness trainings, but ultimately see how many people are getting hired, and in key positions, not just lower level positions, but are they being hired at the top, are they being hired in decision making roles? Because that's what really matters at the end of the day, especially in large organizations who've been doing some work on it. I think it's really important for them to see that how many of the people from the LGBTQ plus community are managers, are head of the departments, are in client facing roles, because then you're really changing the conversation and taking it deep.
Thank you so much, Prachi, for such a holistic view to what organizations should actually do in terms of promoting LGBTQ plus talent. Well, in your view now, what resources and support systems should organizations provide to empower these LGBTQ professionals in their career development? Very rightly said, having gender neutral washrooms is just a step, but we need to have a mindset wherein we're trained in that direction to not make them feel that we've added another advantage for you, we've given you gender neutral washrooms. This shouldn't be a provision coming to them, this should be something that is coming to them naturally. Apart from this, what exactly are the other resources or support system should organizations provide?
Excellent. And I love that you say that we are not doing it for them, we are doing it for ourselves. And I think
Exactly.
this has to be clear with all of us, that you're not doing anybody a favor by being LGBTQ plus community inclusive. You are, if at all, you're doing a favor on yourself. Uh, so I would say review all the policies and make the language also gender neutral or
Okay.
inclusive of all genders. When I see LGBTQ plus community, and I also always only see males, females, always gender binary communication in policies, programs, I do feel excluded. So it's really important that like at IBM, we go through all the policies every year. And
Oh,
surprisingly, every year we are more evolved, and there's a little bit change that we make every year to the policies. Dress code policy, leave policy. There's a caretaker policy where actually parents can travel with their child and a caretaker for business. And then, changing that also, that same sex partners should also are also welcome to use the policy. It's not that they couldn't use the policy before, but just clarifying it, saying it right there. And the dress policy, it should not just be the dress code policy should be taken in mind that gender is not binary. The non-binary individual should also be taken care of. So study all the policies, programs. Second is, for example, if you are hiring transgender people, then, or if you're hiring people who will go through transition, the gender affirmation surgery, then make sure that it's covered in the insurance policy, making sure that they get the right number of leaves. There's a buddy, or there's a manager who understands the journey. The manager should also go through the training program while the team members going through the affirmation surgery, because the new person will come back to the team, and the manager should know how to engage with that new person. Similarly, the peers, the team members should also go through a little bit of training to engage and to welcome that person back. So it's a huge journey of somebody changing their gender, and it has nuances to it. So people have to be really ready with that.
Prachi, I also need to ask you, while you're hiring people from the LGBTQ segment, let's say for instance, how should the panel be designed? If I am from an LGBTQ segment and you are all from, let's say, male, female, a normal segment, because right now I feel that my segment is not, which is considered normal. But not having a person on the panel who is from the LGBTQ community might might leave an impact on an employee's mind, that if they cannot have a person interviewing me from my own community, how will they actually understand what all I need? So, in your way, how should the panel, talent hiring panel be designed while you're hiring people from LGBTQ segment?
It's like when you hire very senior women, it's best to have a very inclusive
Exactly.
um, panel. Similarly, it is ideal that you have somebody from the community, an out person, in the panel. However, because the numbers are, you know not so large usually in
Exactly.
companies,
Right.
that's ideal, but it may not be practical, it may not be realistic every time. So what really helps is having people who are advocates, who are very strong allies of the community.
Okay.
And somebody should actually very openly, deeply talk about the policies, programs, the environment. And we have to be visible as an ally. We have to be bold as an ally. So people should, if somebody's getting interviewed by me, if that interviewee looks me up on the LinkedIn, that person should be able to see some posts of mine that talk about inclusion, that talk about LGBTQ plus inclusion, and understand that this person in the panel stands for inclusion. So it's really ideal is, of course, having somebody from the LGBTQ plus community. Till that happens, till that is possible, make sure that you have strong allies in the panel.
Advocates or allies of LGBTQ plus community people. What measures can organizations take to mitigate bias and discrimination in workplace, ensuring fair treatment and opportunities for LGBTQ professionals, in your view?
Excellent question once again. I think the first and foremost thing is, let's say you have a self ID program, so people can
Okay.
self identify themselves. Making sure, because it's a privacy matter. You see, anybody saying that I'm from the community also signs a disclaimer saying, where the company sort of supports them, saying your data is not going to be leaked to anyone. At IBM, nobody knows it except very few people in TNI, that this person has identified as somebody from the community, unless that person decides to be out. That's a different thing
Okay.
altogether.
Okay.
So that data should never get leaked for anything and anyone. And there'll be different people in the company who will ask for, okay, no, no, we need to know where I stand in my team. Never, ever give in. Because once the trust is broken, it is broken forever.
True.
And so it's really, really important to take care of this. And then
Of the
ensuring
person. Yeah.
that, yeah, and then ensuring that you also have some career enablement programs
Okay.
for the community, high potential community members, so that you are also, you see, a lot of them are coming from, uh, this is a marginalized community. Till now they have faced a lot of bias, so it's possible that some bias sort of manifests in the community members too, in some of them. I'm not generalizing it, but
Okay.
really important to have a career enablement program which helps them develop some networking skills, strategic skills, communication skills, so that they, while the environment is getting ready to hire them in senior roles, they are also getting ready to move the game up, because ultimately everything is being done to create an equitable environment. They are
Okay.
not We are not getting anything, like I'm not getting anything because of my gender. Because I'm a woman, I'm not getting anything. I'm But I'm getting an equitable environment, which is maybe a lactation room which I need, or any other policy which I need. I may come back from maternity and I may need some help. That is okay, but there's no compromise on work and there's no compromise on deadlines. Similarly, there too, there's no compromise on deadlines, but creating an equitable environment is good, because nobody really wants it, or wants success, or wants a promotion, wants an increment because of their gender. They want it because of their work. All they want is, especially the high potential, the good ones, all they want is an equal and equitable environment.
Considering that, you have been an advocate of diversity segment at IBM. Therefore, you understand the nitty-gritties of the matter, Prachi. Now, how can mentorship, in your view, and sponsorship programs be utilized to support career growth and development of LGBTQ professionals? Or if at all they are mandatory or not, in some organizations, they feel that, we cannot be schooling employees on how to behave. It is something that comes from within, while others feel that if it is not coming from within, then you actually need schooling, because they cannot be sacrificing on every stance thinking that they've not been sensitized, or they don't know how to address, they don't know how what kind of language to be used. In your view, is mentorship or sponsorship programs is something that can be utilized to support careers and growth of LGBTQ professionals?
Before I talk about the mentorship sponsorship program, I must respond to something you said, that it should come from within. Why should we school them into
Exactly.
inclusion? If that was the case, that company shouldn't have any policy and program. Because
Yeah.
why do you need policies at all? You need policies so that there is some bit of sanity in the hundreds of people who are working in a team, in an organization. So you agree on a policy that this is what we will do, or this is how we'll behave, this is how these are how many leaves that we will take. So you always agree on a few things in a team or a company. And this is one another thing that we agree that till now, as a society, as a company, as a team, we've not been hiring, we've not been inclusive of the LGBTQ plus community, and from now we will be, because it is a human and a business imperative. So, bringing awareness, bringing light to what was dark till now is important. So, saying that why talk about it, it'll come from within, it'll never happen, because as human beings, we only remember what comes in front of us. Mostly, we remember that what comes in front of us. It's
And then
really
rest
important.
is out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, yeah. So, it's really important to talk about LGBTQ plus inclusion throughout the year, so that hiring managers know we need to hire, and business leaders know that we need to promote and retain. Now, coming back to mentorship, sponsorship, extremely important. What is really important in the whole program of mentorship is reverse mentoring, because right now we are not in a very advanced stage as a country. See, I'm not talking about just IBM is doing DNI for 112 plus years. We made the equal opportunity policy in 1954, so it's a different environment we have. But mostly companies, a lot of the companies are starting their journey, so reverse mentoring is important. Actually, our senior most leaders should learn from people who are from the community, and say, please educate me, please equip me, what the world looks like from your perspective, with whatever they are comfortable sharing. So that mentoring is more important right now as a first step. And then, of course, you do all the mentoring and sponsorship program. I believe a lot of sponsors are needed, so that people from the community are able to take positions and roles that matter. Because people have the genius, people have the talent, people need opportunities, people need people who will talk about them when they are not in the room, who will talk about them when opportunities are being discussed. So sponsorship
Yes.
extremely important, reverse mentoring very important, and of course, having mentors is great too.
Now, education being a very important aspect, Prachi, because you said it's not the month of June that we need to talk about diversity. Should be ingrained in an organization to be discussed throughout the year. It should be a culture. So, what steps can organizations take to continuously educate and train the workforce on LGBTQ inclusivity and sensitivity in the workplace? That's very important, because first you need to be sensitive of the aspect, whom you're talking to, why you're talking to them, and why is it that language needs to be a very important aspect when you are addressing these people.
You see, it'll be different for different companies, because all of the companies are in different stages of LGBTQ plus inclusion.
Okay.
Some companies are very advanced, very inclusive already. They have the programs, they have the policies, they have many people from the community who are out. They have a strong BRG network where people from the community and allies are strong. And there are companies who are just about wondering how to start, where to start. And there are companies in between, plenty of companies in between. So I think the best thing is always, if you have people from the community in the organization, go ask them.
Okay.
The HR people, the DNI people, the business leaders who are in responsible positions should actually talk to them and listen to them as to what their needs are. What are the changes that are needed in the organization for them to feel more at ease in the company, for them to perform better in the company? Instead of me painting using the brush and sort of painting 4 points for you, that may not work for every company. Go check where do you stand as an organization. If as an organization you're just about to start LGBTQ plus inclusion, I think just start with an awareness program with your senior most leaders, one, with all of your employees, two, and see where you stand, what the response is. There'll be a lot of questions, there can be discussions which are uncomfortable. Face those discussions and have experts on your panel to do that, because sometimes these discussions are challenging and they have to be handled really well, they have to be managed really well. So, and if you're somewhere in between, making sure that you have the right policies, programs, then quickly start hiring people. Open yourself up to hire. How do you do that? Train your talent acquisition team, train your hiring managers, whichever managers hiring, train those people and see how, because people reject jobs or companies just at the interview stage mostly, because the
Okay.
market is not bad, is never bad for people who are high potential, you see. So if I'm from the community and at the interview stage I quickly gather that the person who's interviewing me is not inclusive, doesn't even know what policies are there for LGBTQ plus inclusion, there's a very little chance I'll join that company. So train the people who are representing your organization to the candidates. They are leaving such a deep impact on candidates. Doesn't matter if you reject the candidate or select the candidate. Even if a candidate is rejected, that person should go back with a feeling that, wow, what a company, I wish I get hired someday.
No, actually,
So
because you need to understand the culture of the company. And if that attracts you, you might leave across 10 other things which are not in your favor. But if the culture is something that is building you and giving you growth perspective, then of course, any employee would love to join. Thank you so much, Prachi, for the insights, the examples you've given, and what kind of strategies you've been adopting at IBM. I am sure companies and employees and employers and leaders who are all hearing this session will take good key takeaways from this session on how actually a global company is working towards this stance, not only in India, but they're doing it globally. It's a global firm. So it's not just, accommodating people of this community from India, but it is across the world, and how IBM is binding them all together with their sensitization programs, with their language barrier programs, educating them throughout the year and not just in the month of June. It's very important and a very valid point made by you. Thank you so much, Prachi. It was pleasure speaking with you and hearing the anecdotes that you've shared on behalf of IBM. Really obliged to have a word with you.
thank you very much, Sugandh. It's always a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you so much, Prachi. Have a nice day.